Today we're going to talk about reader response theory. Reader response theory talks about how people read and what happens when people read. It was developed by a woman named Louise Rosenblatt back in the 30s. The basic premise of reader response theory is to describe what happens when readers and text come together. It's what's called a literary lens, a literary theory, a critical theory. It's what you study when you are an English major in college. But right now we're going to take a little taste of it because it's important to understand this. Have you ever had an English teacher ask you to make a connection to a book or a story? Have you ever had an English teacher say, "What does this remind you of?" Or "What questions are stirred when you read this text?" He or she knows about reader response theory. They know that this is naturally what readers do when they read. The theory goes like this. There's a reader, and that reader walks around with his or her own personal ideologies, her own beliefs, her own experiences from life. And he or she takes those experiences and beliefs and reads text. And the text has its own features, its own characteristics. Texts have characters, they have settings, they have plots, they also have beautiful language. And when the reader and the text come together, the reader with his or her own beliefs, the text with its own features, that is how meaning is made. That's what happens when we read. So it's important to think about, well, who am I when I approach the text? What is it about me that makes me pay attention to certain particular aspects about the text? For example, why am I drawn to a certain character? Do I have personal beliefs that resemble that character? So these are the things to think about when we think about reader response theory. Of course, surrounding all of this experience are different contexts, different situations. For example, the way you read text is different when you're sitting on the beach in the summer as compared to when you're in an English class and the English teacher is asking you questions like, "Does this remind you of anything?" So it's important to realize that the reader and the text and the context all work together to create that meaning. And it's a meaning that just you might have. There might be people who have similar backgrounds and create a similar meaning, but yours is going to be always slightly different because you are a slightly different person. And that's what we're going to talk more about.